Boss yells at chef in public. Minutes later is begging with regret. Michael Thompson lost his patience easily when it came to his restaurant. As the owner of the most renowned establishment in Denver, he didn't tolerate mistakes, especially when important clients were watching every detail. But on that Tuesday afternoon, when he saw the dish Kevin had prepared for the investors from New York, his anger exploded in a way no one expected. "What kind of garbage is this?" Michael shouted, holding the plate in the air. "Do you think I pay you to embarrass me in front of my clients?" Kevin Miller, just 28 years old, stood frozen behind the kitchen counter, his brown eyes filled with tears, but he didn't say a word. He had spent 3 hours on that special recipe, testing every seasoning, adjusting every detail. The investors, seated at the main table, stopped talking and looked toward the open kitchen. The other diners also turned their heads, creating an uncomfortable silence. "Answer me when I talk to you," Michael continued, his voice echoing through the dining room. 3 years working here and you still can't make a decent dish?" A customer at the corner table, an elderly woman with gray hair named Martha, watched everything with wide eyes. Discreetly, she picked up her phone and started recording. Something about that scene deeply unsettled her. "Mr. Michael, I can remake it." Kevin tried to speak but was cut off. "Remake it? You think I have time for your experiments?" Michael violently yanked the apron from Kevin's hands. "Get out of my kitchen! Get out now!" The other kitchen staff lowered their heads, pretending to be busy with their tasks. No one dared to defend Kevin. They were all afraid of losing their jobs. Kevin gathered his personal belongings from the locker, his hands shaking as he packed his special knives into his leather bag. They were the only valuable tools he owned, passed down from his grandfather. "And don't come back," Michael shouted as Kevin walked toward the exit. "Incompetent people like you don't belong in my restaurant." The young chef left through the back door, avoiding the main dining area where all the customers were still watching. The light rain falling over Denver wet his face, mixing with the tears he could no longer hold back. Martha, the customer who had filmed everything, tucked her phone into her purse with a troubled expression. She had recognized something in that young man's face, something that reminded her of old stories. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing. Michael returned to the kitchen, trying to calm down. The investors from New York had cancelled the deal after witnessing the scene, saying they didn't want to associate with someone who treated employees that way. But he was convinced he had done the right thing. 15 minutes later, as he finally focused on the office paperwork, the phone rang. It was a number he recognized immediately, from the hospital where his mother, Margaret, had been admitted 2 weeks earlier. "Michael, my son?" Margaret's weak voice came through the phone. "Hi, Mom, how are you feeling?" "Son, I need to tell you something urgent. I heard you fired a young man today, a new cook." Michael stopped writing. How did his mother know? "How did you find out, Mom? You weren't even here." "The nurse mentioned she saw a video on social media, a video of you yelling at a young man in your restaurant's kitchen. Son, tell me the name of the boy you fired." Kevin Miller." "But Mom, why are you asking this?" The silence on the other end of the line lasted a few eternal seconds. "Oh my God, Michael." Margaret's voice came out as a whisper. "That boy, he saved my life." "What do you mean, Mom?" 5 years ago when I had that heart attack on the street, remember? I never told you the whole truth. It was that young man who helped me. He was a street vendor at the time, selling sandwiches near the square. When he saw me passed out on the sidewalk, he used all the money he'd made that day to pay for a taxi to the hospital. He stayed with me in the emergency room until you arrived. Michael felt the world spin around him. "Mom, that can't be right." "Son, I'd recognize that face anywhere. A young man with dark hair, light eyes, and a small scar on his chin. He told me he wanted to be a cook, that he was saving money for a course." The scar on the chin. Michael remembered it. Kevin did have a small mark on the left side of his face, the result of a childhood accident. "Mom, I fired him. I yelled at him in front of everyone." "Son, you need to find that boy and apologize. He saved me, and I never got to thank him properly. In the chaos of the hospital when you arrived, he disappeared. I've always wanted to see him again. Michael hung up the phone with trembling hands. He rushed to the kitchen where the staff was still working in silence. "Does anyone have Kevin's address?" he asked, trying to control the desperation in his voice. "I only know the neighborhood, boss," said David, the sous chef. "He lives over in Riverside Heights, but I don't know the exact address." "What about his phone?" "I don't think he has a cell phone, boss. He always said he couldn't afford one." Michael grabbed his car keys, leaving the restaurant in the manager's hands. As he drove through the city, he checked his phone at a red light. The video Martha had posted already had hundreds of views and dozens of negative comments. "What a disgusting boss, humiliating an employee like that," one person wrote. "I'll never set foot in that restaurant again," commented another. "Does anyone know this cook? I want to offer him a job," posted a third. The rush hour traffic was heavy, and Michael tapped his fingers on the steering wheel anxiously. With every passing minute, more comments appeared on the video. His restaurant was being torn apart on social media. When he finally reached Riverside Heights on the outskirts of Denver, it was almost 7 in the evening. The streets were narrow and poorly lit, a far cry from the upscale neighborhood where his restaurant was located. He stopped at a small corner bar and asked the owner, "Do you know a young man named Kevin Miller? He works as a cook." "Kevin? Of course I know him. Good kid. Lives up that street, the yellow house. But I don't think he's there. I saw him this afternoon carrying some suitcases." Michael's heart raced. He ran up the steep street until he found the yellow house. He knocked several times, but no one answered. An elderly neighbor appeared at the window next door. "If you're looking for Kevin, he doesn't live here anymore. He got evicted last week." "Evicted? What do you mean?" "The boy was 3 months behind on rent. The landlady ran out of patience. Poor thing, he was saving up to pay, but with the salary he earned..." "Do you know where he went?" "I think he moved in with his fiancée over in West Side, a girl named Jennifer. She works as a nursing assistant at the health clinic." Michael thanked her and rushed back to his car. West Side was on the other side of town. As he drove, he called a few friends, trying to get information about nursing assistants named Jennifer, but with no luck. It was almost 9 at night when he reached West Side. He stopped at several health clinics in the area, but they were all already closed. Finally, a night guard at one of the units said, "Jennifer, there is a Jennifer who works here. Young girl, curly hair, but she's not working today. She'll be back tomorrow morning." "Do you know where she lives?" "I can't give out personal information about employees, you know. But if you want, you can come back early tomorrow." Michael spent the night at the nearest hotel, unable to sleep. By morning, he was at the health center's door when Jennifer arrived for work. She was a young woman, about 24, with curly hair and a gentle smile that faded when he introduced himself. "Are you engaged to Kevin Miller?" "I was," she replied curtly. "Who's asking?" "I'm Michael Thompson, owner of the restaurant where he worked." "Oh, it's you." Jennifer's face closed off completely. "The man who humiliated my ex-fiancée in front of everyone. I saw the video. Everyone saw the video." "Ex-fiancée?" "We broke up last night," she said, tears in her eyes. "Not because of the job, but because of a lie he told me a long time ago." Michael didn't understand. "What lie?" "He said he had saved money for our wedding, but yesterday I found out he lied. He actually sold the few valuable things he had to pay for his mother's cancer treatment. I found out by accident when a neighbor mentioned seeing him at the hospital. His mother is sick, for 6 months, and he hid it from me because he didn't want me to worry or feel obligated to help financially. When I confronted him about the lies, he told me everything. Said he even used our wedding money to buy the expensive medicine she needs." "Then why did you break up?" Jennifer wiped her tears. "Because I can't take any more lies, even if they're lies to protect me. A relationship needs honesty. He should have trusted me from the start." "Where is he now?" "At the hospital, taking care of his mother, Memorial Medical Center, oncology wing. But Mr. Thompson..." She looked him in the eye. "You destroyed his life. He lost his job, his home, his fiancée, all in the same day. If you came here to feel better about yourself, you can go home. Kevin didn't deserve what you did to him." Michael left the health center with a heavy heart. He drove silently to Memorial Medical Center, thinking about Jennifer's words. On the way, he stopped at a florist and bought a bouquet of yellow roses, his mother's favorite flowers. At the oncology wing, he asked the reception desk for Kevin's mother's room. The nurse, after a few questions, told him it was room 314. When he got there, he saw through the slightly open door Kevin sitting beside the bed, holding the hand of a very thin, pale woman. "Mom, don't worry," Kevin said softly. "I'll find another job soon. The important thing is for you to get better." "My son, you shouldn't have lied to Jennifer." The woman's weak voice was barely audible. "I just wanted to protect her, Mom. If she knew about your illness, she'd want to spend her money too, and I couldn't let that happen. But now you've lost her, and you lost your job too, all because of me." "None of this is because of you, Mom. I was going to lose the job sooner or later anyway. That boss never liked me." Michael knocked lightly on the door. Kevin turned and went pale when he saw him. "What are you doing here?" he asked, standing up from the chair. "Kevin, I need to talk to you." "There's nothing to talk about. You said everything yesterday in front of everyone." Kevin's mother tried to turn in bed to see who it was. "Who is it, son?" "My ex-boss, Mom. Don't worry, he was just leaving." Michael approached the bed and placed the flowers on the nightstand. "Ma'am, my name is Michael Thompson. I'm Margaret Thompson's son." The woman's eyes widened. "Margaret? The woman I helped 5 years ago?" "That's right, and I came here to ask your son for forgiveness." Kevin looked at him, confused. "What do you mean?" "My mother told me everything. How you saved her life. How you used your own money to take her to the hospital. And I fired you without knowing any of that." "Wait a minute." Kevin sat back down in the chair. "Your mother is Mrs. Margaret?" "Yes, and she's been hospitalized for 2 weeks at the same hospital. In the cardiology wing, she had a heart relapse." Kevin's mother tried to sit up in bed. "Son, you told me about that story. The woman you helped on the street." "I did, Mom, but I never knew her son's name. He only arrived at the hospital when I was leaving." Michael stepped closer to the bed. "Kevin, I came here to ask for forgiveness and to offer you your job back." "I won't take it." The answer was sharp and direct. "What do you mean?" "I won't take your job, not after what you did to me. You humiliated me in front of everyone, said I was incompetent, tore my apron off violently. An apology won't erase that." Michael stayed silent for a few seconds. "Then what can I do?" "Nothing. There's nothing you can do. It's already done." "Kevin," his mother whispered, "don't be so proud." "It's not pride, Mom. It's dignity. For 3 years, I worked for this man. I always respected him, always did my best. And the first time he didn't like something, he treated me like trash." Michael felt tears welling in his eyes. "You're right. I acted like a coward, like a man with no manners. But Kevin, I want to make things right." "Too late. Please, give me a chance to fix this." "Mr. Michael," Kevin stood up again. "Do you want to fix this to feel better about yourself, or because you actually care about me?" The question caught Michael off guard. Because if it's just to make yourself feel better, forget it. I'm not your charity case. I'm not someone you'll use to ease your conscience." "That's not it, Kevin. It's just that your mother told you who I was, and now you feel guilty. Before you knew, I was just an incompetent employee who deserved humiliation. Now that you know I saved your mother, I suddenly deserve respect." Michael didn't know how to respond. "That's exactly it," Kevin continued. "You don't regret treating me badly. You regret treating the wrong person badly." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, back to the story. Kevin's words echoed in the room like a slap to Michael's face. He realized the young man was right. If he hadn't known about his mother's story, he probably wouldn't have felt remorse at all. "You're right," Michael admitted, lowering his head. "I really am a coward. But Kevin, at least let me pay for your mother's treatment." "With what money?" Kevin asked sarcastically. The money you never paid me for transportation? The overtime wages you never gave? The delayed 13th month pay? Michael was speechless. Yeah, Kevin went on. Now that you need my help, you suddenly remember you owe 3 months of transportation benefits to all your employees, huh? Kevin, I didn't know that. You didn't know because you never cared to ask. You'd walk into the restaurant, give orders, yell at everyone, and leave. You never asked if anyone needed anything. You never cared about our lives. Kevin's mother touched her son's arm. Son, don't talk like that. No, Mom. Let me speak. For 3 years, I put up with this man treating me like I was nothing. 3 years of shouting, criticism, humiliation. And you know why I endured it? Because of you. Because I needed the money to take care of you, ma'am. Kevin turned to Michael again. Do you really want to make things right? Then go to your restaurant and apologize to all the other employees who are also treated like trash. Pay everyone what you owe for their transportation allowance. Stop yelling at people. Learn to treat your employees like human beings, not slaves. Kevin, I'll do all of that. But will you come back to work with me? No. Why not? Because I learned something important yesterday. I learned that I don't have to accept being treated badly by anyone. Not by a boss, not by a fiancé, not by anyone. My dignity is worth more than any salary. Michael sat in the chair on the other side of the bed. Kevin, I understand your anger, but I need you to understand something too. Yesterday, when I yelled at you, it was because I was stressed about the investors from New York. That doesn't excuse anything, I know. But I want you to know it was never personal. Of course it was personal. Everything was personal. You yelled at my work, at my dedication, at everything I am as a professional. How could it not be personal? You're right. Michael's phone rang. It was his mother, calling from the hospital. Son, did you find Kevin? Yes, Mom. I'm here at the hospital with him. Put me on speaker. I want to talk to him. Michael switched the phone to speaker. Kevin, my dear, is that you? Kevin moved closer to the phone. Hi, Margaret. How are you feeling? Better now that I know you're okay. Son, I never got to thank you properly for what you did for me. You don't have to thank me for anything. Yes, I do. You saved my life, and I wanted to do something for you. I wanted to help you somehow. You already helped me a lot. How so? By giving me a son who owns a restaurant where I could work and learn the profession I love. Michael looked at Kevin, surprised. Even after everything my son did to you, you can still say that? Margaret, your son messed up with me. He messed up badly. But it was at his restaurant that I learned everything I know about cooking. It was there that I became the chef I am today. Kevin, Margaret's voice trembled. You're an angel in my life and in Michael's. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be alive today, and if it weren't for you, my son wouldn't be learning the most important lesson of his life. What lesson, Mom? Michael asked. The lesson of humility, son. The lesson that money doesn't give you the right to mistreat anyone. The lesson that a man is measured by how he treats those with less power than him. The room fell silent for a few seconds. Kevin, Margaret continued, I have a favor to ask you. Go ahead, Margaret. Forgive my son, not because he deserves it, but because you deserve peace in your heart. Forgive him for yourself, not for him. Kevin looked at Michael, whose eyes were wet with tears. I forgive him, Margaret. I forgive him. And will you work with him again? That, I still don't know. Michael hung up and kept looking at Kevin. What do I need to do for you to trust me again? I don't know if that's possible, Mr. Michael. Give me a chance. Just one chance. Kevin looked at his mother, who nodded in approval. Just one chance, Kevin said, but not as an employee. What do you mean? As a partner. Michael nearly fell off his chair. Partner. Yes. Half the restaurant becomes mine, and we change everything. The way employees are treated, the menu, everything. Kevin, that's a lot. It's this or nothing. Do you really want to make things right? Then share what's yours with me. Show me you truly trust my work. The proposal was outrageous. Michael had built that restaurant from the ground up. It was his life's dream, giving half to someone he'd only known for 3 years. I need to think. There's nothing to think about. Kevin said. "It's now or never. Either you accept, or I walk out that door and we never see each other again." "Kevin, you're being too extreme. Extreme is treating employees like dogs. Extreme is humiliating people in public. Extreme is not paying transportation allowances for 3 months. What I'm proposing is justice." Michael fell silent for several minutes. He thought about everything that had happened in the last 24 hours. He thought about the video that was destroying his restaurant's reputation. He thought about the employees he mistreated every day. He thought about the lesson his mother had mentioned. "I accept," he finally said. "Accept what?" "I accept you as a partner. 50% of the restaurant is yours." Kevin was stunned. He hadn't expected Michael to agree. "Are you sure?" "I am. But I have some conditions too." "What are they?" "You go back to Jennifer and marry her. I'll pay for the wedding." "Mr. Michael, and one more thing. Your mother will get treatment at the best private hospital in the city. I'll cover everything." "I can't accept that." "Yes, you can. Now that we're partners, your family is my responsibility too." Kevin's mother began to cry. "My son, accept this blessing." Kevin looked at Michael with tears in his eyes. "Why are you doing this?" "Because my mother is right. You're an angel in our lives, and because I want to learn to be a better person." The two men embraced there in the hospital room, sealing a partnership neither of them had thought possible just 24 hours earlier. But Michael's transformation was only beginning. When they returned to the restaurant together the next day, they found only 3 employees working. All the others had quit overnight. "Where is everyone?" Michael asked David, the sous chef. "They're gone, boss. After the video went viral, job offers from other restaurants started coming in. Everyone accepted." Michael sat in a chair, watching his business crumble. "What do we do now?" he asked Kevin. "Now we rebuild, from scratch, but the right way." "How?" "First, we track down every employee who left and apologize, not to get them back, but to clear our conscience. And then? Then we hire new people. But this time, we treat everyone with dignity. Fair wages, benefits on time, and respect, always." They spent the next week visiting former employees at their homes. Michael apologized personally to each one, admitting his mistakes and committing to change. Some forgave him, others didn't. But all were surprised by the humility he showed. Susan, who had worked as a waitress for 2 years, said, "Boss, you made me cry so many times. You yelled at me in front of customers, humiliated me over nothing. I forgive you, but I'll never work for you again." Anthony, who had been a kitchen assistant, was more direct. 3 years of humiliation, Mr. Michael. 3 years of hearing you call me stupid, saying I couldn't do anything right. You destroyed my self-esteem. I'll forgive you, but I'll never trust you again." With each visit, Michael understood better the damage he had caused. It wasn't just one mistake with Kevin. It was a pattern of behavior that had gone on for years. When they finally reopened the restaurant 2 weeks later, only one former employee remained, Debbie, the cleaning staff, who said, "Mr. Michael, you always treated me poorly, but I need this job. I'm a single mother. I can't afford to leave. But now things will be different, right?" "They will, Debbie. I promise." The rest of the team was entirely new. Kevin made sure to sit in on every interview, ensuring they chose people not just for their skills, but for their character. "We want people who enjoy working as a team," he told each candidate. "There's no room for shouting or humiliation here." Slowly, the restaurant began to rebuild, but the first few months were tough. The video of the humiliation was still circulating on social media, and many customers avoided the place. "We're losing money every month," Michael said to Kevin one Thursday afternoon, when they had only 5 tables occupied. "I know, but we can't give up. Kevin, maybe we should close everything down and start fresh somewhere else, under a new name." "No, if we do that, it'll look like we're running from our mistakes. We have to face the consequences and show we've truly changed." "How?" "By working, every single day, treating every customer like they're the only one, taking care of the staff like their family." Kevin was right, but Michael was anxious. His investments were running out and he started questioning whether he'd made the right decision. Things got worse when Martha, the customer who had filmed the original video, showed up at the restaurant on a Friday night. "Good evening," she said to Kevin, who was at the kitchen counter. "I'm Martha Wilson. You're the one who filmed—" "Exactly. The one who filmed your boss humiliating you." Michael, who was in the office, overheard the conversation and came out to the dining area. "Good evening, Mom." "Good evening, Michael. I came here to see if you've really changed or if it's all just for show." "What do you mean?" "I want to have dinner here. I want to see how you treat customers now, how you treat your staff, whether you've truly changed or if it's just marketing." Martha sat at a table in the center of the dining room where she could observe everything. She ordered the main dish from the menu and paid attention to every detail. Throughout the meal, she watched how Michael interacted with the staff, how Kevin managed the kitchen, and how the waiters served the other tables. At the end of the night, she called the two partners to her table. "You've changed," she said simply. "How do you know?" Michael asked. "Because I watched you for 2 hours. I saw how you treat your employees. I saw how you speak to customers. I saw how you work together. You've really changed." "And now?" Kevin asked. "Now I'm going to make a new video, telling the whole story, showing how you've transformed. It'll help clear the restaurant's image." "Why would you do that for us?" "Because I believe in second chances. I believe people can change when they truly want to." Martha kept her promise. She made a 10-minute video telling the whole story. The original humiliation, Michael's regret, his partnership with Kevin, the changes in the restaurant. The video went even more viral than the first one. This time, the comments were positive. "What a beautiful story of redemption. Now that's owning up to mistakes and truly changing. I'm going to visit this restaurant to show support." Within 2 weeks, business doubled. Reservations started coming in. Customers came specifically to see the restaurant of transformation. But Michael knew he couldn't relax. The change had to be genuine and constant. "Kevin," he said one morning, "I want to implement a new policy." "What is it?" "Every month we'll gather all the employees and ask if anyone has any complaints about our behavior, if anyone felt disrespected, mistreated, or humiliated." "Good idea." "And I want to share part of the profits with the team. It's not just charity, it's recognition for their work." "Mr. Michael," Kevin smiled, "you've really changed." "I'm still changing. Every day I learn something new about how to treat people." The transformation didn't go unnoticed by former employees. Susan, the former waitress, came back to the restaurant as a customer on a Saturday night. "Mr. Michael," she said at the end of her meal, "I want to congratulate you. The atmosphere here is completely different now." "Thank you, Susan." "The waiters are smiling for real. There's no shouting in the kitchen. The clients are relaxed. You did it. Would you like to come back to work with us?" Susan thought for a few seconds. "Yes, I would. But as the dining room supervisor, I want to help make sure the changes stick." "I accept." Slowly, other former employees returned. Not all of them. Some still held deep grudges, but many decided to give it a second chance. Anthony, the kitchen assistant, was the last to come back. "Mr. Michael," he said, "if you humiliate me again, I'll walk out right then and never come back." "I won't humiliate you, Anthony. Not you or anyone else." "How can I be sure?" "Because now I know that humiliating others is humiliating myself." The restaurant didn't just recover, it became even more successful than before. The story of the transformation drew curious visitors, but the quality of the food and service kept them coming back. Kevin developed a completely new menu based on recipes he'd learned from his grandfather. Simple dishes, but prepared with refined technique and top-quality ingredients. "You know what's different now?" he asked Michael one busy evening. "What?" "Before you cooked with anger. Now we cook with love." "What do you mean?" "When you yelled at everyone, the atmosphere was tense. The food came out without care, without dedication. It was just work. Now everyone works happily, and that shows in the flavor of the food." Michael realized Kevin was right. The dishes really did taste better. The clients praised them constantly. 6 months after the transformation, they had an unexpected visitor. Jennifer showed up at the restaurant on a Tuesday night. "Hi, Kevin," she said a little awkwardly. "Jen, what are you doing here?" "I came for dinner. I heard you're doing well. Want to sit at the partners' table? Sure. During dinner, they talked about everything that had happened over the past few months. Jennifer said she was taking a hospital administration course. Kevin talked about his partnership with Michael and his mother's recovery. How's your mum? Better, much better. The treatment at the private hospital is working. The doctors are optimistic. I'm happy for you. And you? How are you? Good. Working hard, studying, trying to move past everything that happened. Jen. Kevin gathered his courage. Do you think we could try again? I don't know, Kevin. It still hurts a lot. What hurts? The lies. Even if they were to protect me, they were still lies. How can I be sure you won't lie again? Because now I've learned that a relationship needs honesty. Always. Even when the truth hurts. That's a nice theory. It's not theory. It's practice. Want to see? How? Ask me anything. Anything at all. I promise to answer with complete honesty. Jennifer thought for a few seconds. Do you still love me? I do. More than before. Why? Because now I understand I lost you by not trusting you, by thinking I had to protect you from everything. Now I know you're strong enough to face any problem by my side. What if I come back and your mum doesn't like me? My mum already likes you. She always has. And even if she didn't, it wouldn't change anything between us. What if I can't fully forgive you? We'll work on it together, with patience, no rush. Jennifer stayed silent for a few minutes. Okay, she finally said. Let's try again. But slowly, one step at a time. Kevin smiled in a way Michael had never seen before. One step at a time, he repeated. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to leave a like and especially to subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing. 2 months later, Michael got a phone call that moved him deeply. Son, said his mother, the doctors told me I can be discharged next week. Really, Mom? Really. And do you know the first thing I'll do when I leave the hospital? What? I'll have dinner at your restaurant. I want to try Kevin's food. He'll be so happy to hear that. And son, I'm proud of you. Why? Because you've learned the most important lesson in life. Because you've become a better man. I'm still learning, Mom. We're always learning, my son. What matters is never stopping. On the day of Margaret's discharge, the entire restaurant prepared to welcome her. Kevin created a special menu with dishes he knew she'd love. The staff decorated the dining room with yellow flowers. When she arrived, still a bit weak but smiling, she was greeted with applause from everyone present. Customers, staff, Michael and Kevin were moved to see her. Mrs. Thompson, said Kevin, approaching the table where she sat, you saved my life 5 years ago. Today it's my turn to save you with a good meal. My boy, she held his hand, you've already saved me. You saved my son too, and yourself. The dinner was emotional. Margaret savored each dish with care, praising the flavors and presentation. Between bites, she shared stories of Michael's childhood with the staff. He was always stubborn, she said, laughing. Even as a little boy, he thought he knew everything. Mum. Michael was embarrassed, but he was also generous. Whenever he had a little money, he'd share it with his friends. He just forgot that when he grew up. I did forget, Michael admitted, but I remembered again. At the end of the evening, Margaret called Kevin and Michael over. You two, she said, gave me the greatest gift I could ever receive. What gift, Mom? Seeing you working together, seeing my son become a better person, seeing you, Kevin, living your dream of owning a restaurant. It's not my restaurant, Mrs. Thompson. It's ours. Yes, it is, my boy, and you deserve all the success in the world. 3 months later, Kevin and Jennifer married in a simple but touching ceremony at the restaurant itself. Michael insisted on organizing and paying for everything as he'd promised. The celebration was small, just for close family and friends, but it was filled with emotion and joy. I never imagined I'd get married where I work, Kevin told Jennifer during their dance. Neither did I, but there's no better place. This is where you learn to truly trust me. And where I learned honesty is the foundation of everything. Michael, watching them dance, felt a peace in his heart he hadn't known in years. His mother, still recovering but determined to be there, came up to him. "Are you happy, son?" "I am, Mom. Happier than I ever thought possible." "Why?" "Because I finally understand what's important in life." "And what's important?" "People. Treating people well, being grateful for what I have, admitting my mistakes and trying to make them right." Margaret smiled. "It took a while, but you learned." A year after the transformation, the restaurant had become one of the most sought after in Denver, not just for its exceptional food, but for its inspiring story of redemption. Journalists came from other cities to interview Michael and Kevin. The story was featured on TV shows, magazines, and newspapers. But for the two partners, the most meaningful recognition came from their staff. "Mr. Thompson," said Debbie, the cleaning staff member, during a monthly meeting, "you changed our lives." "How so, Debbie?" "Before, we came to work afraid of making a mistake and being humiliated. Now we come happy. We know we'll be treated with respect." "And you all changed my life too," Michael replied. "You taught me that being a boss doesn't mean owning people, it means being responsible for them." Susan, who had returned as a supervisor, added, "We've created a family here, a real family." Kevin, who was in the meeting, smiled. "And like any family, we have to take care of each other." "Exactly," agreed Michael. "That's why I want to share a decision Kevin and I made together." Everyone paid attention. "Starting next month, in addition to the profit sharing we already do, we'll implement a health plan for all employees and their families." There was a brief silence, followed by emotional applause. "But that's not all," Kevin continued. "We're also creating a fund to help anyone who wants to further their education. Technical courses, college, graduate school, whatever's needed." "Why?" asked Anthony. "Because you deserve to grow," Michael replied. "You deserve opportunities, and your success is our success too." The meeting ended with everyone moved. Some employees cried with joy, others made plans to return to school. That night, after everyone had left, Michael and Kevin stayed alone in the restaurant, finalizing the last details for the next day. "Kevin," Michael said, "thank you." "Thank you for what?" "For not giving up on me, for giving me a chance to be a better person." "Mr. Thompson, you're the one who gave me a chance. You could have left me in misery after firing me, but you came after me." "I came because my mother told me who you were. If I hadn't known..." "But you did, and you did the right thing. That's what matters." Michael reflected on Kevin's words. "You know what? I think everything happened the way it was supposed to." "How so?" "If I hadn't yelled at you, I'd never have discovered who you really were. I'd never have realized my mistakes. I'd never have changed." "That's an interesting way to see it. Sometimes we have to hit rock bottom to climb back up." Kevin nodded. "And sometimes we have to lose everything to discover what truly matters." The two sat in silence for a few minutes, each lost in thought. "Mr. Thompson," Kevin finally said, "can I ask you something personal?" "Go ahead." "Do you regret giving me half the restaurant?" Michael thought for a moment before answering. "Never. Not for a second." "Why?" "Because you turned this place into something I never could have done alone. You brought soul here. You brought love. You brought humanity. You've changed a lot too. I changed because you taught me how. You and my mother. You showed me that being strong isn't about yelling at others. It's about treating them with respect, even when you have power over them. That was the hardest lesson of my life too." "Which one?" "Learning that being humble isn't weakness. It's being strong enough to admit when we're wrong." Michael smiled. "We learned together, and we're still learning. Always." 2 years after the transformation, the restaurant had become a benchmark, not just for its food, but also for its people-first management. Business owners from across the United States came to learn about the business model born from that story of redemption. Michael and Kevin were invited to speak at universities, conferences, and seminars. They always told the whole story, never omitting past mistakes. Change is only possible when we admit we need to change, Michael would say in his talks. And when we accept that change hurts, Kevin would add, it hurts our pride, our vanity. But it's worth it. Jennifer, who had married Kevin and now worked as the restaurant's administrator, always attended the talks. She felt proud seeing how her husband inspired others. "You've changed a lot too," she told him after an especially moving talk. "How so?" "Before you were shy, unsure. Now you speak naturally to hundreds of people. It's because I have something important to say now." "What?" "That everyone deserves to be treated with dignity. It doesn't matter if you're the boss or an employee, rich or poor. We're all human beings." Margaret, who was now fully recovered and a constant presence at the restaurant, listened to the conversation with a smile on her face. "You make me proud," she said. "Why, Grandma?" asked Jennifer. She had started calling Margaret Grandma after the wedding. "Because you turned a painful experience into something beautiful. Because you used suffering to grow, not to become bitter." "We learned from you," said Kevin. "You learned nothing. You're the ones who taught me." "How so, Mom?" asked Michael. "You taught me that it's never too late to start over, that people can change when they truly want to. That forgiveness heals both the one who forgives and the one who is forgiven." That night, after the restaurant closed, the whole family gathered around the main table to have dinner together. It was a tradition they had created. Once a week, they all ate together with no customers, just enjoying each other's company. "You know what?" said Michael, looking around the table. "I used to think success was having money, a thriving business, being respected by competitors." "And now?" asked Jennifer. "Now I know success is being here with all of you. It's having employees who trust me. It's sleeping with a clear conscience. And knowing we make a difference in people's lives," added Kevin. "Exactly. Every employee who grows here, every customer who leaves happy, every person inspired by our story, that's real success." Margaret raised her glass of water. "A toast," she said. "To what?" everyone asked. "To the mistakes that taught us how to get it right, to the tears that made us stronger, and to the love that overcame everything." They all raised their glasses, moved. "And to life," added Kevin, "which always gives us a second chance when we're willing to change it." "To life," they all repeated in unison. Outside, Denver carried on with its nightly routine. Cars passed through the illuminated streets. People returned home after another day of work. The city moved at its steady, indifferent pace. But inside that restaurant, 4 people had learned one of life's most important lessons: that true wealth lies in human connections, mutual respect, the ability to forgive, and the courage to change. The story that had begun with shouting and humiliation had turned into a lesson of love, redemption, and hope. Proof that it's never too late to become a better person. And as they finished their family dinner, laughing and talking about plans for the future, the restaurant quietly prepared for another day of work. Her day when it would continue to be not just a place to eat well, but also a symbol that human transformation is always possible. Outside, a small sign at the entrance summed up everything they had learned. "Here, we treat everyone with respect because we believe every person has value." It was a simple message, but one that carried the weight of an entire journey of growth, forgiveness, and renewal. End of story. So, what did you think of this story of transformation? Do you believe Michael really changed, or do you think it was just self-interest? And Kevin, did he make the right choice by forgiving and accepting the partnership? Tell us in the comments which part touched your heart the most. If you liked the story, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other moving stories like this one.